Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for the second installment of a new series called Tip of the Cap. And basically the point of these videos, it's an opportunity for me to do a shout out to a channel that I enjoy here on the YouTube platform, and at the same time show off some cards or do a video showing some cards that I think either remind me of that particular person or would be a fit in their collection, or something along those lines. Tie some cards in somehow and show off some of the goods here on the channel. So if you missed the first installment of this, go back and take a look. It was done on Peeps, hobby buddy of mine. And today in the second episode, we're going to cover Card Wolf. That's right, CW over at Card Wolf. He was gracious enough to allow me to use the many satellites that are involved in the Card Wolf network to broadcast today's video out across the globe, really. He's got international reach. CW has a great channel, very mellow, calm, soothing approach to the hobby that I appreciate very, very much. Caught on to his channel relatively, in the early going, early enough that I was able to go back and kind of watch the few that I had missed before learning about him. And so he's one of those channels where I've seen every episode, and I'm sure to catch every new one when it comes out. I remember kind of giving him some maybe strange compliments early on, but he certainly seemed to appreciate them, that he kind of reminded me of the Bob Ross of the YouTube card community. And I remember complimenting his vocabulary on his channel, which is about as nerdy as it gets, complimenting somebody's vocabulary on their sports card channel on YouTube. But there you have it. So CW is a great guy. I'm sure most of you who are watching this are probably subscribed to him and know who he is. But in the event that you're not, please check the link below and go give him a visit. You won't regret it. In addition to just being a great community member, he has sent me some amazing cardboard in the time that I've known him, like those two vintage cards on the left there. So I tried to make a little card wall here. That's something that Card Wolf does on his channel. He keeps inbound cards that he gets in rack packages and otherwise kind of spread out against the rear wall where he shoots his videos. So I've made a small card wall tribute to you, CW. Of course, those two amazing vintage cards that you sent me on the left, and then the David Arias rookie card on the right, David Ortiz, which we'll talk about in a few. So for most of these, I'm probably going to show like half a dozen cards from my collection that kind of associate or are somehow associated with the channel that I'm shouting out. Today, I have just one card, and then we're going to do kind of a small activity, which you can probably guess at based on the title of today's installment. The one card that I wanted to show off, great excuse to take this one out. CW lives in Utah now, but he grew up in the Baltimore area, and as such is a huge Orioles fan, and wanted to take this video as an opportunity to show one of my all-time favorite cards since I was a little kid. I still love this card to this day, and I don't think I've shown one yet here on the channel. This is a graded copy, but this is Cal Ripken Jr.'s 1982 Topps rookie card. For me, I've mentioned this before, but Ripken was a top 3 player for me of my youth growing up, alongside Nolan Ryan and Will Clark. Those were kind of the 3 guys that I loved and collected when I was playing Little League and collecting cards as a kid. Just really admired Ripken's, obviously his streak, the fact that he played shortstop and was a pretty effective hitter. And of course, he was all over the news, breaking Lou Gehrig's record at a time when I was at a very sort of impressionable age. In fact, I think he broke the record just a few days after I turned 13 years old. So obviously, just somebody that I admired growing up, and always loved this rookie card, even though it is a shared 3-player rookie. It's just one of my favorite cards, and it doesn't hurt that it's also from my birth year set. I was born in 1982, so always loved this one, and thought this was a good opportunity to kind of bust this out for today's Tip of the Cap video, knowing that CW is such a big Baltimore fan. So that's going to be the only card for today, and the reason is we're going to do a little activity. So I'm going to borrow in tribute one of CW's ideas here. One of the segments that he does quite often and gets pretty well received, good reception from myself included, I always enjoy them, is the Dorking with Dice segment. And then more recently, a hockey flavor called creatively Dorking with Dice on Ice. And basically the idea is CW takes a box, fills it up with some unopened product, and then rolls a big giant, like 30 or I think 20-sided die in his case, to select a pack to open on the channel from the packs that are in the box. And so I thought in order to pay tribute to CW today, we would do a Dorking with Dice Lite. So I don't have a big 20-side die, never been a big gamer, but I do have Yahtzee here at home. So I've got a couple of standard die here in this, or standard dice I should say, here in this Yahtzee cup. And that would allow me to roll numbers 2 through 12, which would be 11 packs. So I did sort in here in the same way that CW does on his channel, 11 exciting packs of baseball cards. And if you've ever watched CW's Dorking with Dice, he likes to put some special packs on the two ends and in the middle. So some of this is, you know, your everyday fare. I do have a pack of 1990 tops in here, my first ever love on the baseball card front. But in the number 1 slot, if we roll I'm sorry, this would actually be number 2 since we're rolling 2 dice. Number 2 slot, a Helmar pack. These are cards featuring paintings created by originally a snack food company, but now I think they just make their own independent cards at this point out in the Midwest. So we'll take a look at those if we roll a 2. In the 7 slot, I've got a Topps Chrome pack from 2021, so a chance of a nice refractor or some good shine there. And then in the number 12 spot, we've got this 2022 Topps Jumbo pack. I've been sitting on this unopened since I got that from Diamond Princess months ago, and I thought, you know, in the same way that CW does on his videos, we'll try to put some significant cards in the middle, back, and front of this box. So without further ado, we'll roll for our first pack here and see what we get. And we're looking at a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be 1992 Topps Baseball. And of course, this was the introduction of Topps Gold. You can see here on the bottom, I believe you got those 1 per pack. So we'll see if we can get somebody decent out of this with our 1 gold card. And I'll be making some piles here as I go through things and settle on what I'm going to keep. So we'll flip these over. This is sort of the last year of the classic like cardboard stock. It's almost a transition year, I would say, though. This is very different stock than what was used from the 50s all the way up to 1991, really. But we've got Hal Jeffcoat here for the Rangers. In the leadoff spot, Alex Cole rocking some nice shades there. I'll probably set this one aside for Brian at Walkenbach. And there we go. We got a Hall of Famer here, Barry Larkin. Great shot, too. I love the photograph on this one. Nice deep cut. Looks like he just drilled a double or a triple down the line there, admiring his work. So that's a keeper. We don't have a Wolf layer, but we'll put this over in the Ripken layer for today. We've got Jeff Reed here, donning the tools of ignorance with the Reds. Got a Kurt Young up next with the A's. And let's see here. We got a Norm Charlton. Ooh, come on, camera. This camera. There we go. Norm Charlton. Here's a scratch-off throw-in card. So I believe CW refers to these as like propaganda. He's got no room for those in his collection. We're going to toss that right to the side. We got Russ Swan up next. Jim Clancy, Andy Ashby of the Phillies. Got a top prospects card here. Let's see if any of these guys did much. Brad Ausmus made the show and lasted for a while. Yeah, not exactly a star-studded grouping there. Benny Santiago, love the photograph. Tony La Russa, there we go. Longtime manager, baseball lifer. Beautiful looking card there. We're gonna Ripken layer that one. And here's a nice one. You don't get a baseball player in a tux very often, but Scott Ruffcorn is looking good here. He is ready for senior prom. Great smile on his face. Love that one. And we've got 2 more to finish it out here. Scott Bankhead with the Mariners. And then a Mike Hargrove, another longtime manager. Not quite the La Russa card, but a pretty cool one still. So that's going to be it for that pack, and we'll kind of stack these up over here. And let's see if I can roll another one. You know what? We're going to move these a little more out of view, but it's going to be a challenge here to keep the dice in the view of the camera. But I can see here, next up, we've got looks like a 7. So that's actually going to be our nice pack here. Topps Chrome. And oh man, in my camera tribute to CW here with the focus issue, I think I've truthfully thrown off my own focus for the whole video. So this is actually perfect. CW seems to have camera woes on occasion that make me snicker. So this is beautiful. So these obviously are highly chrome cards here. Kind of see me. Hello there. We've got David Dahl right out of the gate. Shun Yamaguchi for Toronto. We've got Dallas Keuchel. And then we close it out with a Future Stars insert of Randy Arozarena for the Tampa Bay Rays. So not exactly a stellar pack there. We're going to do at least one more, though, and maybe 2. When CW does this segment, he will typically do 3 to 4 packs. Before we get to this next one, I did want to comment the Connor McDavid card that you can see in the background here. That is a clear-cut parallel, and it's an example of how CW and I have influenced each other's collecting. He has shown that one on his channel and mentioned that he originally learned about it here on Shoebox Legends. The clear-cut parallels being acetate, of course, and ran right out to grab his copy. So CW is a smart man picking that one up. I love it. Let's get into the next pack here. And we are looking at a 4. 2, 3, 4, and that is going to be 1991 Topps Baseball, which we actually talked about a minute ago. This would, by most people's definition, truly be kind of the last classic cardboard stock set that we saw produced by Topps. Some really nice photographs in this. The print quality on some of these is not really anything to write home about. You do get some blurry photos sometimes. There was gum included in this. I am definitely not going to eat that, but we'll leave that out here. Get rid of the wrapper, and let's see how we do here. So we'll flip this around. There's another advertising or propaganda card. No time for that. Oops, let's see if we can get some focus here. All right. We got Darryl Ackerfields in the leadoff spot here for Philly. Dwight Smith, a nice shot there with the Wrigley Ivy in the background. We've got a Jay Bell with the Pirates. Pete Harnish, interesting look on his face, but that's a nice Orioles card in this CW tribute episode. Edgar Diaz with the Brewers. Here's Flash Gordon. Always love this one. It's really nice how the player kind of just extends over the border here, giving it a little bit of a 3D effect. Wish they had done it with his arm and the ball down here in the lower right, but a really nice Tom Gordon card there. As far as commons go, gotta love that one. This is a Willie Blair for the Blue Jays. Second half of the pack, we've got John Barfield. This pack's not exactly lighting the world on fire. Kurt Miller, #1 draft pick. Obviously that's for West there, for those of you that were unsure. Played for West. There we go. Ozzie Smith. Love this guy. I've actually picked up a couple of Ozzie Smith slabbed cards recently, believe it or not. Just a favorite player of mine. He might not have been in that top tier with Will Clark and Cal Ripken Jr. And Nolan Ryan when I was growing up, but he was definitely in that second tier of like top 10 players that I enjoyed. Love Ozzie Smith. Love this card. That's a definite keeper, and that's getting Ripken layered. Then here's another one, Hall of Famer right behind that, Mr. Eddie Murray, the early 90s here with the Dodgers. He's put on a few pounds since his debut, but still making contact, just like always. That's another Ripken layer keeper right there. There's a Greg Brock for the Brewers. Scott Bankhead again. I think we saw Scott Bankhead earlier in the 92 Topps pack, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a Bankhead-based episode here. Got Luis Quinones, Cincinnati, and then we finish it off with not a Hall of Famer, but a player who was very, very good back in the day, Mr. Matt Williams. So there you have it. We did at least get a couple of Ripken layer cards out of that pack. And you know what? We got enough time here. We're still under the typical Card Wolf 20-minute or so mark. Why don't we do one more pack and see if we can hit on one of these big ones. And it's going to be a 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5. We already rolled a 5 initially, if I'm not mistaken. May have messed that up, but doesn't really matter. Let's go with a 6 instead. And that is going to be this Topps Kids pack to finish things off from 1992. Love this set. This was a one and done for Topps. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a set that was designed and marketed for children. What a concept. But I love these even as an adult. You got 7 Major League Baseball cards per pack. Look at that artwork. That's symbolic of what we're going to see inside of this. This is as simple as it gets in terms of a set. There are no inserts or parallels or anything. I think there's like 132 cards or something like that. I've mentioned it before, but one of the cool things about this product, don't recall having seen this anywhere else. That's right, the bubble gum is individually wrapped. So take that, 1991 Topps gum. I think Topps Kids has you beat there. And then let's take a look at the 7 cards that we pulled out of this pack. So first off, maybe my favorite design from the handful that are in this set, Mark McGwire with the cartoon dugout in the background. Of course, he was just a beast in the world of sports in 1992. So this card may not have the kind of street cred now that it would have back in the early 90s, but a beautiful one there. And then how about Delino DeShields right after that in the Montreal Expos caricature, running off with first base. He's stolen first, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I'm not sure that's possible to steal first base, but there you go. And here is maybe the most fitting card in the entire product. This is maybe a little bit some foretelling, I guess, from the artists at Topps, but we have maybe the earliest appearance of jacked, ripped, steroid-infused Barry Bonds here. So that's a keeper. We're going to Ripken layer that one and actually put that right on a stand in the Ripken layer. So that is a very cool card there. It's a Steve Finley. We've got a Glenn Davis, again on that dugout background design for Baltimore though. Nice to see another Orioles card there for CW in his Tip of the Cap episode. We've got a Dave Righetti on the dizzying design. And then Juan Gonzalez. Love this guy as a kid. I know a lot of people that are around my age do. He was just a RBI beast and a fun guy to collect in the early 90s. So that's the end of that pack. And that is going to be a wrap. But before we wind this down, I do want to just encourage you once again, if you're not already familiar with or sub to CW at Cardwolf, head on over there because every time he gets to 100 sub benchmark, or at least so far, the guy buys an entire collection and then just gives it away to his subs. And if you don't think that's, it's anything good or nice, this David Ortiz or David Arias rookie card that I talked about briefly from Fleer Ultra at the beginning of the video came to me from his last such giveaway. So definitely get over there and become a sub before you miss the next one. I'm sure he's gonna have another 100 subs in no time, given the quality of his content and the rate that he is going at. But that's going to be a wrap for this installment of Dorking with Dice Lite and for this installment of Tip of the Cap as well. So tip of the cap to you, CW. Love your approach to the hobby. Love everything you do over there on your channel. Keep it up and absolutely hoping we can enjoy the hobby together for many years to come. And to everybody else, please go check out CW. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Until then, take care.